Hi guys, my name is Ayushi, and in this podcast, we are going to talk about life and everything about life. So, welcome to Careless with Ayushi, and let's begin. Hi guys, you are listening to yet another podcast, and my name is Ayushi, and you're listening to Careless with Ayushi, and we have a special guest today.
Yeah.
Her name is Kavleen, and we are best friends since I don't know, since स्कूल डेज बट एग्जैक्ट याद नहीं कि कब से बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स हैं. और आज हम बात करने वाले हैं एक ऐसे टॉपिक के बारे में जो हम दोनों बहुत बात करते हैं, जिस बारे में है ना. और इस चीज़ के बारे में मैं ये बोलना चाहूँगी कि इवन इफ़ वी आर अपसेट, इवन इफ़ वी आर हैप्पी, और चाहे कोई भी सर्कमस्टांस हो, हम सबकी लाइफ में थॉट्स बहुत ज़्यादा प्रिवेलेंट होती हैं, है ना.
ट्रू.
और कवलीन, मुझे लगता है कि हम इतना ज़्यादा डिस्कस करते हैं इन चीज़ों के बारे में, लाइफ और थॉट्स और हैप्पीनेस, सैडनेस, और आई डोंट, ऑब्वियसली बीइंग बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स हम बहुत कुछ डिस्कस करते हैं, बट स्पेसिफिकली आज हम ये चीज़ डिस्कस करेंगे कि हाउ डू वी कंट्रोल आवर थॉट्स, एंड स्पेशली बीइंग गर्ल्स. मुझे लगता है गर्ल्स को कुछ ज़्यादा ही चलता रहता है दिमाग में.
It's not like a cliche, I can say that, but it's something like most of us girls goes through. Even guys go through this, but I think it's like universal.
Like thoughts का regularly चलना is universal.
It's more about कि in certain situations we don't know how to deal with it, and हमारा first thought यही होता है कि to react, like if something adverse happens to us. So at that time I think our emotional stability is very very important.
What do you think about this thing कि एक personality होती है इंसान की, introvert, extrovert, ambiverts, है ना. What do you think कि मतलब ये पर्सनालिटीज इफेक्ट करती हैं इंसान को. लाइक मी बीइंग एम्बीवर्ट, लाइक मैं तो एक्सट्रीमिस्ट हूँ. तेरा मुझे पता है कि तू इंट्रोवर्ट टाइप में ही आती है, क्योंकि तू इतना ज़्यादा ओपन अप नहीं होती लोगों के साथ, है ना. तो तेरे में लाइक इंट्रोवर्ट्स में, जैसे मैं तेरे को इंट्रोवर्ट बोल सकती हूँ, है ना.
एक्चुअली आई एम अ मिक्स ऑफ बोथ.
एम्बीवर्ट.
Ambivert, because I'm like an introvert in the beginning, initially, but after that, me, I totally blew up, and then there is no stopping me, right?
But जहाँ तक मैं जानती हूँ, you don't share your feelings much with everyone.
No,
like even though you open up, but still you don't share your feelings with everyone.
Yeah, trust issues.
Yes, trust issues. So is this a reason that our minds, our thoughts consistently go on?
Being an introvert?
Maybe being an introvert.
See, it's like कि होता क्या है कि it depends on person to person. Like you don't need a crowd every time to tell people to feel better, to get that kind of validation. Sometimes you just need maybe just one person.
Yeah, right.
So it's about your crowd, but not the like quantity. Okay. Not the strength. That doesn't matter. But then there is one more thing कि introvert people it's not about even introvert or extrovert. It's about your ego. Like
right.
You don't want to appear weak in front of people, or you are vulnerable enough. Or sometimes you are too vulnerable, you want that kind of attention. So
exactly.
all you talk about is yourself. You don't care if other people like
are
they have
interested to listen or not.
Yeah. You don't acknowledge that they have problems too, and they are dealing with it too. Or sometimes you are on the other extreme side where you are like, everybody has problems, so a mind problem, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think both the extremes are wrong.
Yeah,
you got to find a middle ground. And most of the times what happens if you are, let's just say introvert, how it affects you, we do not get a space for our let out of our emotions is very very important. That's what I have like learned through all these experiences. But also at the same time, it's just not let out. You have to acknowledge something. You have to acknowledge what you learned from all this.
But you said like trust issues and ego.
See, ego. Mostly trust issues are there, but obviously sometimes, like I said, there are two extremes. And hota kya hai, mostly you will find people with extremes. You will not find people with
Yeah, I am
middle
an
ground.
extremist.
Right? They change with time, but initially we all are. You
But
can say,
you know me, जैसे तू मेरे साथ बातें शेयर करती है, you know me that I am like way too extremist. या तो मैं बहुत impulsive हूँ या तो मैं बहुत peaceful हूँ. मेरे लिए वो मिडिल ग्राउंड ढूंढना बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है. और स्टार्टिंग में अगर मुझे कोई चीज़ पता, जैसे इवन तू भी मुझे कुछ बताती है तो मैं एकदम से या तो मैं बिल्कुल पीसफुल रहती हूँ कि अच्छा ठीक है कोई, या तो मैं बिल्कुल इम्पल्सिव हो जाती हूँ. और हमने ये चीज़ें शेयर की हुई हैं पहले भी. और इवन हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ भी ये चीज़ होती है. या तो दे आर वे टू
reactive,
या तो
we don't react
at all. Yeah,
it
right.
requires. So it's basically like when something bad happens, right? I think we should give ourselves some time to acknowledge the problem.
What if the other person is impulsive? Like if I talk about myself or if I talk about you, I don't think so you are impulsive.
Right.
You take your time and then you react.
Yeah.
But what if someone is like very impulsive and
know when you take your time, sometimes it's also taken for granted. People will take you for granted for taking your time. They think that they can walk over you.
She's not reacting, so I can walk over her. And
they don't do it consciously. The problem is many times people don't do it consciously,
but it hurts.
But it hurts. But they are like, you're like this, I'm like that. You will always hear this from one person who is like who is hurting you. You will always hear this. It is a narcissist trait, what I've heard. Like, I'm like this, you're like this. No, I'm like this, I cannot change. That is one thing you'll hear. And to be honest, I've been that person on both the sides. Okay, but with time I have realized, like, you got to change yourself also. You cannot expect other people to just change. And sometimes I've been on the wrong side. And you know what? This is the most important thing. Sometimes we are the wrongdoer, okay? And we don't acknowledge it because we feel sympathy for ourselves. We always do, right?
Yes, and we victimize ourselves.
We do, which is right to some extent. But you will see that you will not feel that kind of anger. You will like give it an excuse, so other people also do it.
Have you ever done this thing like कि तुझे लगा हो कि यार मतलब तेरी गलती है, but you are like दूसरों पे एकदम से ही चढ़ जाओ कि यार मतलब how can you do this to me?
Actually, what goes through your mind in that situation? It's like that I'm not just that person. I'm also good in other aspects. So you're supposed to like do an overall check of my virtue and vices. You're supposed to say that she's good overall, so we should overlook one bad quality of her. That's kind of mentality one person has when that person is hurting someone else.
But it's vice versa.
It's basically again there's got to be a balance.
मैंने एक thought पढ़ी थी कहीं पे, वहाँ पे लिखा था कि अगर आप 99 अच्छी चीज़ें कर रहे हो और आप एक बुरी चीज़ कर रहे हो ना, तो तुम्हें पॉइंट आउट किया जाएगा जस्ट बिकॉज यू आर डूइंग दैट वन बैड थिंग. लाइक पीपल यूजुअली निगलेक्ट तुम्हारे 99 अच्छी गुड थिंग्स एंड दे विल जस्ट पॉइंट आउट दैट वन बैड थिंग. देख तूने ये किया ना. सो ये भी तो हमारी थॉट्स को कहीं ना कहीं इफेक्ट करता है.
This is what I'm trying to say, right? And you're saying that people point out 99%. We are also 99%.
Yeah, exactly. We also point out people.
We also point out. So like it takes two to tango.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So in every situation you'll see, even though there are some people who are like narcissist, control freaks, and you have to deal with them.
I've dealt with.
We all have dealt with.
Yeah, exactly. Such people. Yeah.
They might be good to other people.
आई थिंक हम सब में एक नार्सिसिस्ट पर्सनालिटी होती है कुछ हद तक, है ना. क्योंकि मैंने ये चीज़ शायद कहीं पढ़ी थी या मुझे ये चीज़ किसी ने बोली थी कि हमारी प्रॉब्लम ना इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं होती, हमारी प्रॉब्लम सुपीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है. क्योंकि हम लोगों को सुपीरियर बनना है, और जब हम किसी को सुपीरियर उसमें देखते हैं और हमें फील होता है कि यार हम तो उतने सुपीरियर नहीं है, तो इट्स नॉट योर इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स का इशू, इट्स योर सुपीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स का इशू
मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स. या
है ना. एंड आई थिंक दिस थिंग इज ऑल्सो रिलेटेड टू तुम्हारा माइंड कैसे वर्क करता है, तुम्हारी थॉट्स कैसे वर्क करती हैं. और आजकल के टाइम पे व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट तुम्हारी थॉट्स जो इतनी ज़्यादा हमारी सोसाइटी जो प्रेशर डालती है, जो सोशल मीडिया प्रेशर डालता है, कंसिस्टेंटली हमारी थॉट्स चेंज हो रही हैं एम को लेके, पीस को लेके, लाइक हर चीज़ को लेके, हमारी फैमिलीज को लेके, हर चीज़ में हमारी थॉट्स चेंज हो रही हैं. दिस इज़ ऑल्सो अ सॉर्ट ऑफ, I don't know,
realization, to be honest. It's like realizing what's the reality. We've been living in a dream since our childhood.
Yeah.
चीज़ें ऐसी होंगी वैसी होंगी. Now we are questioning our dreams. We are doubting ourselves.
But
what is
ये
going
भी
on?
हमारे thoughts में consistently चलता
है. Yeah, sure. So, like, you know, we have to accept that we don't know reality.
Yeah.
Somewhat we have to accept. हमारे दिमाग में ये होता है, we know everything. हमने कोई छोटा सा एक्सपीरियंस गेन किया, we know overall picture. We don't. We never know.
And what about judgment?
Yeah.
Like, do you know people who जो छोटी छोटी बात पे किसी पे भी judgment pass कर देंगे?
I can't say that, but I've known them from a very long time, and I know very well how to deal with those kind of people.
Please tell me.
You have to understand one thing, that you have to pity them. You don't have to pity yourself.
No, I'm not saying this thing. Like, I know people who judge, like randomly कुछ भी judgment pass कर देंगे किसी को भी.
I'm telling you, yeah, you have to realize they do not
It's not कि like तेरे पे कोई judgment pass, तेरे पे भी हो सकती है, ठीक है, like मेरे पे भी हो सकती है, but maybe it's their habit. और जब तुम उस चीज़ को पॉइंट आउट करते हो कि
they will never accept it
and they'll be like तुम भी तो करते हो ना यार.
Exactly. See, first you have to analyze that whether you do it also or not. ठीक है, you have to hold yourself accountable, and if you see that you're not doing it and the other person is doing it more, you have to draw some boundaries for your peace of mind.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I think boundaries are important. Sometimes, we often believe that if we are good, we should tolerate wrong. Okay, so this is a very controversial thing to say, whether you should or you should not. It's about your spiritual journey, how much you want to tolerate, how much you are okay with it. But I will say that the best thing you can do to yourself is give yourself some peace of mind. That's what you require most. Okay, the best thing would be not to react too much, not to take it too personally every time. Okay, you can tell them in the beginning that it's bothering you, and if still they go on, then you have to realize that
it's their problem.
Yeah. It's not my problem. Okay, so you have to be the analyzer. It's sad, this whole situation is, all of us go through this. All of us find that one person who takes us for granted, who likes to point out our flaws, who's like, you're always the problem. So
there are people
actually, and maybe sometimes in certain situations, even unconsciously, we did the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So it's easy, very easy to point out other people's flaw. And you know what, people like this kind of attitude these days. People like to you're wrong. This is really happening nowadays.
What if everyone around you is saying you are wrong, and that person is feeling like very sad about it, and person is self-doubting himself
that has
or
happened with
herself.
Me. That has happened with me.
Have you ever felt self-doubt?
That was a really new emotion for me, to be very honest. I have never been the kind of person who has been the talk of the town, or people are saying that you are wrong, you're the wrong person, with so many people, right? And when I
know you are the calmest and coolest person ever, because
I don't know if I'm the calmest
पता क्या होता है कि हम हमेशा ये नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते कि एक इंसान के लिए हम अच्छे हैं और अपनी फैमिली के लिए हम अच्छे हैं. दुनिया में कोई ना कोई इंसान ऐसा ज़रूर होगा जो तुम्हें बोलेगा कि यार ये ना इंसान मुझे पसंद नहीं, चाहे वो तुम्हें बस दूर से देखता हो, तुम्हारी अपीयरेंस पसंद नहीं होगी, कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा इंसान हमेशा होगा जो तुम्हें कभी ना कभी
बॉदर करेगा,
जिसको तुम बॉदर कर रहे हो.
I mean, when what happens if there are a lot of people pointing out wrong in you, chances are you are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have to realize who are these people, how are they related to you, and how much you
priority क्या है उन लोगों की,
उनकी priority क्या है, आपकी priority क्या है, how much you must let it affect you. See, if your family members are telling you, right?
Exactly.
Then
it's a point.
It must be a big problem. if there are so many, like your closest one who actually care, your closest of friends.
Yeah, your parents, your closest friends.
Okay.
If they are telling you that
Yeah.
you're wrong,
Then you
maybe there is some problem.
There is some problem. But then again, I also feel that there is a way of saying it. Okay, so what is the problem? What actually happens that people just like, you're wrong.
Bounce at
Okay,
you.
nobody is actually willing to listen to your side, and that is very important. People should be able to listen to your side and maybe say that, you know, it has happened. Okay, now what you're gonna do is more important, right?
Yeah.
How will you approach this now? Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do that, a lot of times people don't. And also you have to also understand, see, you know, that at that time our victim mentality is at the peak. Okay, we self-pity ourselves so much. We're like, oh my god, how can they do this to me?
Yeah,
I've been such a
exactly.
good person to them, I've done so much for that person, and they're not even like,
I've gone through this.
acknowledging it, right? They are just, I have just one flaw, and they're all like, you're the bad person, you're the worst person alive. So yeah, of course, I mean, eventually you all let it go. So it's upon you how much time you will take to come out of this, to actually work on it. And the most important point of our emotional stability is resilience.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have to, when you fall down, you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you have to like go on. The show must go on.
Yeah.
Okay, people don't care.
Exactly.
It's true. You're accountable for yourself, and it's kind of sad because at the same time, because we don't really get a lot of time nowadays to like talk about our mental health, or you know, let out our emotional like frustration. But also at the same time, we have to realize that, you know, at one point we have to let it go. See, you will see a lot of people who are always like, you know, this has happened to me. They always decorate their pain. And
yeah, exactly.
and you know,
Even
what is
we
the one
do
of
it.
the
Even we
we
do it, yeah.
But one of the worst personality you can get is a victim narrative. Like most of
I've gone through this.
we have all gone through this, but some
I'm
people,
so much in pain.
yeah, no, at that time it's fine. But if you make it your personality, that victim narrative, then you are kind of a bully. I'll tell you why. Because you're not acknowledging that other people have gone through their struggles as well. I've seen some people, and you know what? Their whole life narrative is, people have done me this wrong. I've been good to them, but they have done me, like we all have it to certain extent. But that I have met that kind of people also, and I'm not saying they are bad, or maybe they are doing it out of like wrong intention, but at the same time they just like to, like, that is their introduction in life.
They glorified
it, and you have to understand that why are you a victim? You probably did not put any boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my last point is, how good are you in accepting change? Like, how fast can you process like your thoughts, and how good are you at processing change? Because for me, I am a very how do I say, I'm a very fearless person if it comes to change. Like, मेरे को change accept करने में बहुत problem होती है. अगर कोई मुझसे दूर जा रहा है, अगर जैसे ये ग्लास है, अगर मैं इसमें रोज़ पानी पी रही हूँ, अगर ये टूट जाएगा ना, मेरे को हर्ट होगा कि यार मेरा ग्लास टूट गया. तो एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट पीपल, लाइक अगर तुम्हारे साथ कोई अटैच्ड है, लाइक तू ही अगर मेरे साथ अटैच्ड है, तो मेरे को पता है कि हाँ, यू आर देयर फॉर मी व्हेनेवर आई नीड यू और व्हेनेवर यू नीड मी. बट एकदम से अगर कट ऑफ हो जाएगा ना, इट विल अफेक्ट मी. Like, does it affect you?
Of course, to some extent, it does.
How fast do you recover from changes? Like, ये मैंने एक example दी थी कुछ चीज़ों की, like समझ रही है ना लोग कैसे change, लोगों के लिए change क्या होता है कि कोई person आ रहा है, जा रहा है, कोई चीज़ों से related, या कुछ भी हो सकता है change. यार तुम नए environment में जा रहे हो, कुछ नई job कर रहे हो. Like, how better can you do this thing?
Let's see, I cannot speak for myself that I can do this too much fast or too less, but I do think that obviously initially it does take a little time to me as well. होता क्या है कि at first we are like, we have to get over this, you know,
bouncing back,
right?
time ही नहीं है आजकल.
Yeah, true. And at the same time, somewhere inside we feel that, but we are like suppressing that because we know we have to move on, right? So it comes to your thought once in a while, right? Initially it affects you a lot. Initially everything affects you a lot, right? You cannot think of something else. But then again, with time I have learned that the most important, see, I read this somewhere, I really liked it, that if you have a problem, right?
Yeah.
And you have to see that after 5 years, will this problem will be a problem? Will this be a matter of concern? If it's not, do not give it more than 5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes, 5 days. जितना भी तुम्हें लगे उस चीज से move
yeah,
on
what
करने
they
को.
meant is basically give it as much less time as you
हाँ, exactly.
You don't need to give it your whole life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think emotional stability is really, really important. Even emotional intelligence, it's a subject now. So I think
Emotional intelligence. Yeah.
yeah, it's a subject now. So I think we should all first of all consider ourselves accountable. It's very important that we analyze ourselves. We see how much of a better person we are every year, every month, or overall. And then we should understand that, you know, we have one life, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot be bothered by someone's shenanigans for too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you have to understand that if that person is that way, they have lower emotional intelligence, right? Pity them, don't make them like your problem.
मतलब कुछ उनको वो मत बना लो कि यार ये तो ऐसे ही है. Like don't try to change them. Like
Don't
try it once, twice, thrice, but don't try to change them at every step because they won't. अगर उन्हें होना होता वो 1-2 बार टोकने से ही हो जाते. अगर उन्हें नहीं होना वो नहीं होना है उन्होंने वो उनकी बहुत सालों की.
To be very honest, a change, you know, all of us that we go through, we don't go through because of the other person. We go through it because of our own experience.
And I think it's somewhere related to our spirituality also. क्योंकि अगर इंसान थोड़ा सा spirituality में होता है ना वो खुद ब खुद चीज़ें समझता है. Like it's again very deep subject. So spirituality में तो obviously हम नहीं जाएंगे. But I think कहीं ना कहीं spirituality is also related to how you deal with changes.
Of course.
है ना?
It is.
So yeah, Kavleen, thank you so much for coming here, and I really want you to write a message for me that you have learned.
Oh my God.
Please take this diary and write down a message for me.
I think it's not just for you. Like
yeah, you can give a message to our audience also.
Yeah. So is there a pen or anything?
Yeah, we have a pen right here.
Okay. Thank you.
But first of all, ये हम बाद में भी लिख सकते हैं. But पहले हम एक message दे देते हैं अपनी audience के लिए.
Yeah. So I think my message would be to be better, not bitter.
Wow, I like this line.
Thank you.
So yes, guys and Kavleen. So I really appreciate your time, Kavleen, and I want to give you a small present मेरी तरफ से. So
My God.
yes.
You seriously got me
Please.
a present? I was not
give it to
expecting
every.
it at all. This is not like, no, we didn't rehearse this or anything.
Yeah, we didn't
We
rehearse
actually
it
rehearse
actually.
anything. To be very honest.
Yeah, ये podcast on the spot होता है. जितने भी अभी तक के podcast हो रखे हैं सिर्फ कुछ topics होते हैं जो हम पहले से decide करके रखते हैं और जितना भी हम बोलते हैं वो on the spot जो दिल से निकले वो ही बोलते हैं. So हाँ ये thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and
Thank you.
and yeah, please go ahead and write a message for me. And yeah, please write the date also. So that I can remember it. Yeah, we got a heart, guys. Okay, thank you so much, Kavleen. And I'll share her Insta link down in the description box. And in case you want to check her out, you can go and follow her on Instagram. And do listen us on Spotify. And please go and check out our Instagram, which is Careless with AYUSHI. And you can listen the video. You can watch the video version on YouTube and listen the audio version on Spotify. So thank you so much, Kavleen. With this, we end this podcast. And thank you so much, guys, for listening. Bye. We really appreciate your time. And I really appreciate your time, Kavleen. Thank you so much and bye.